They're going to try to blame us for Biden's immigration crisis. They're also now apparently going to try to blame us for COVID and for the COVID lockdowns that they primarily pushed. Joy Reid, liberal talking head who makes it on all sorts of conservative shows because she's among the wackiest on cable TV. Joy Reid comes out and she says Donald Trump, during COVID, that guy was stacking dead bodies.
Which era do you want to relive? The chaotic, frankly, insane 4 years of crazy tweets, migrant kids ripped from their parents' arms, random fights with our allies, and 1 million bodies in the ground due to COVID? The bodies stacked up in refrigerated trucks because the hospitals ran out of room. The states fighting over ventilators, the old people dying by themselves and saying their goodbyes on iPads. The economy literally collapsing and all of us stuck in our homes for a year. Kids having to graduate from high school and college on Zoom. Or the Biden era, where the president is old, yes, and set in his ways and some of his policies infuriating. Trump didn't want to deal with a public health catastrophe. He didn't want to take the blame or get bad press. So instead, he spent months pushing crack science, taking advice from snake oil salesmen instead of public health experts. He mainstreamed the anti-vax movement, which is going so strong today that we are facing measles outbreaks among unvaccinated children.
This is the most scattershot, internally inconsistent attack on Donald Trump I have seen yet, which is really saying something. What exactly is Joy Reid accusing Trump of? Is she accusing him of creating the coronavirus? I don't think Trump, for all of his sins, I don't think Trump was over there in the lab in Wuhan, stirring up petri dishes. She's saying we shouldn't go back to Trump because if you go back to Trump, we'll get COVID again. I mean, in a way, that's possibly true, since the practical effect of COVID was changing all the election laws so that the Democrats could rig it in their own favor. So I don't know, maybe they will do a COVID again. But in any case, I don't think you can blame Trump for the virus. And then she accuses him of doing too much to address COVID. The whole economy collapsed. We shut down the whole economy. It's true. It is true. The government under Trump did shut down large parts of the economy. That's unfortunate. I mean, in some ways, it was driven by the Democrats pressuring him to do that, and the libs and people like yours truly, Dr. Fauci. But then in the next breath, she accuses him of not doing enough to address COVID. So which is it? He created COVID. Then he overreacted by taking the virus too seriously and making sure that people do too much to protect themselves, so much so that he locked down the whole country. But then he actually didn't do anything at all, and he didn't lock down the country, and he didn't tell people to protect themselves, and he pushed quack science. Also, by the way, we're talking about something that happened over 3 years ago. Almost exactly 3 years ago now. Right? Yeah, almost middle of March was when we heard 15 days to slow the spread, and that kept going. This is the best they've got. A 3-year-old story that is, even in their own attacks, totally inconsistent and contradictory. What do they argue? Do they want to say that Trump was too hard during COVID? Do they want to say he was too lenient? They don't know because their voters can't even agree on that. And people also don't really remember the details because it was so long ago. This was the DeSantis campaign. The DeSantis campaign was predicated on how good DeSantis was during COVID and how he was relatively better than Trump. And it went nowhere. And it went nowhere because people want to know what you've done for me lately. Because people in politics tend to have short attention spans. But in this case, the Biden campaign can't even say we did such a great job during COVID because they were doing the same stuff Trump was doing in a lot of cases. They were the worst aspects of Trump's COVID policy were being pushed by the Democrats. And that actually helped to increase the popularity of Republican governors who said no to the Democrats, like Ron DeSantis. But even Ron DeSantis doesn't get helped by it too much because it was 3 years ago and no one cares anymore. This is the best they got. That is a terrifying fact for the Democrats. But then I think I put myself in Joy Reid's shoes. I put myself in the Biden family's shoes. I put myself in the White House strategist's shoes. What else are they going to run on? Trump's a criminal? Oh, shoot, we're criminals. There's a There was a border crisis. Well, the border was a lot better under Trump. Well, the economy was a lot better under Trump too, until COVID, which we said was a really big deal, and we made you shut the country down over. What are we left with? Pretty soon, Joe Biden is going to be arguing about how things were so much better when he was in the Senate in 1973. They're going to just have to keep going back and back and back and back because everything they've done lately has been so disastrous. What's the theme of the Biden campaign? Tell me the theme. I don't think I'm being unnecessarily harsh here. I don't think I'm just being a Republican hack or something. I can't point to the theme. That Biden's theme in 2020 was Trump's a racist. Remember, the first campaign ad for Biden was Trump called Nazis good people in Charlottesville, which didn't happen, obviously. But that was it. Trump's a racist. Are they going to run on that again? I guess that's what Kara Swisher, the liberal journalist, said should happen on CNN. Call Trump a racist and a fascist and a rapist. But none of that's really working, I don't think, because the poll numbers, which have been relatively reliable, at least in the Republican primary, show that the more they do that, the higher Trump's numbers go. So what do they got? Let me know. Actually, don't let me know. Let Joe Biden know. He's the one who's asking for it. Speaking of the Republican presidential nomination, Trump officially has clinched the nomination. I feel like I have said that, some version of that statement, about a dozen times on the show, but it's because there just continue to be more official markers that he's the... So one would be when the other candidates in the primary no longer have a mathematical path to victory. You'd say, okay, Trump's the nominee. Then you'd say, when they drop out of the race, you say, okay, Trump now doesn't have any challengers, so he's officially the nominee. Well, now, he's not formally the nominee until they go to the party convention, but he has clinched the GOP nomination after winning 4 more primaries because he now has the requisite delegates to win. You need 1,215 delegates to win the nomination. After the primaries in Georgia, Mississippi, Hawaii, and Washington, Trump has 1,241. He's the guy. Even if Marianne Williamson switches parties, runs in the Republican primary, even if any of the other candidates unsuspend their campaigns, it's over. The only way to stop Trump from being the nominee is for a lightning bolt to come out of the Democrats or out of the sky to kill him before the nomination. God forbid. Say what you will about Trump. He does not face the same problem Biden does. Biden has no campaign theme. Trump has one. Trump's campaign theme is American greatness. That's it. There are different kinds of Republican campaign themes over the years. One is shrink the government, get the government off my back. Another one is go bomb the Middle East, let's spread democracy all around the world. Another one is we're going to be compassionate conservatives, a kinder, gentler conservatism. There have been a lot of different themes. Trump's is American greatness. We're going to make America great again. There's an irony here, which is that perhaps the most consistent and hysterical critic of Donald Trump from within formerly influential Republican circles is probably Bill Kristol, former chief of staff to Dan Quayle, the vice president for George Bush, and former editor of the Weekly Standard and one of the leaders of the Never Trump movement. But Bill Kristol, not so long ago, called for this theme, American greatness. There have been a lot of Republicans who have recognized this is a strong theme. Get the government off my back might appeal to some people on certain issues in practical ways. It's not a winning campaign message. You don't win campaigns by saying you won't do things. That's not how it works. You don't win campaigns. You don't inspire people by saying, if you elect me, I won't do anything. I'll sit on my hands. He who governs least governs best. Or so. That might work for certain libertarian think tank policy wonks. It's not going to resonate for people. Bombing the Middle East, that's not going to resonate for people these days either, I don't think. Compassionate conservatism, we're going to be more like the squishes. I don't think that's going to resonate. But American greatness, make America great again, that appeals to a lot of people. And that has been Trump's theme. There have been other Republicans who've used that. Ronald Reagan would be one of them, make America great again. I think Nixon actually used that theme even before Reagan. That's a strong theme. Compared to what's Biden's slogan? Come on, Jack. I'm going to have some ice cream, Jack. Or make America great again. Which one are you voting for? That was a good clip. That was a good clip, and we all know it. If you want more good clips, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.